on this tool is everything starts at the dashboard level. And dashboards are typically consolidation of this quick numbers, quick views, quick graphs and gauges and the cards that would give a person or that particular, give some important information about that particular business area just by looking at it. You can't do filterings and things like that at the dashboard level, but it's just supposed to be a quick consolidated view of the key elements, so that you can look at it on your phones or whatever, and still derive a lot of information, or still gauge a lot of look at a lot of matrices that are important for that particular business area or for that particular role. So this is what that dashboard is like. So when you tap on it, it actually takes you to what is called as the report level. Now this is what a profitability report looks like, and this report has multiple tabs. Now each of these tabs would be pertaining to profitability, of course, but would have different components. And each page of the report, so these tabs are called as the page of the report, and each page can have multiple components or multiple visuals is how we call it. So to sum up, everything starts at the dashboard level. Okay, dashboard basically has components coming from the report level. Each report can have multiple pages, and each page can have multiple visuals. Just some terminology to remember how themes and components flow. So it's pretty straightforward. Just like from the viewer's perspective, everything starts at the dashboard level, and then those are basically the components coming from somewhere in some report. It could be from multiple reports, but some report. And then report has multiple pages, and each page has multiple visuals.
So are the filter things like department name in your bottom right, are those still called visuals?
No, those are filters.
Okay.
Slicers. Those are typically
slicers.
Slicers.
Okay. Just getting the nomenclature, because our old BI platform, they were all widgets.
Was it IBM?
No, it was Sisense.
Okay.
Which I'm so glad to be going to this. So is Chris, I'm sure.
So this is simple KPI gauges. It lets you filter by the branch, department. You can look at prior years, compared to, you can look at different months if you want to see how you did in June, how you are doing compared to prior. So prior was 148. So far this year, by the end of June, you were at 160. For margins, you were at 36. Your prior, that is June of 2017, by the end of June 2017, you were at 43. It's your operating profit, and that's your net profit. And this one here is just breaking up the numbers by manufacturer. So you're looking at your sales by manufacturer. You're looking at sales by branch, sales and margin by line of business, and month-over-month sales. Now, if you want to look at a particular branch, you would just tap on that particular branch. Let me make this visual interaction a little better. Okay. So now, when I tap on a particular branch, it tells me the sales by manufacturer for that branch. So it tells me of 17.4 million worth of sales that I did for Lubbock. 5.6 were Volvo, 1.9 as miscellaneous, 1.6 is Genie, 1.6 is Case, and so on. And same thing, I can keep going, San Antonio, or whichever. You just select a branch and it will give you the breakup. So basically, when you tap on a particular component, or one of the chart, or one of the grid, or whatever that is, all the other elements on the page would react to that, and filter based on your selection on that chart. That's something that we call as the cross filtering. So this is going to let you look at, it might be simple numbers, but it's going to let you look at a lot of perspectives just by clicking on an individual chart. Similarly, you could be clicking on a particular manufacturer and then see how the sale is going. So it looks like San Antonio is the largest case branch. And if you click on Volvo, it looks like Lubbock is your largest Volvo branch, and so on. So that's essentially how this can be useful. And also, it also gives you a month-over-month sales. So if you want to see, okay, which were good months, which were not good months, how is it trending, how are you doing on the gross margin, how are you doing on the net profit, all of that can be visible from this. There is another feature. So now I'm going to focus on this particular chart to demonstrate that. So to focus on something, you just tap on the focus mode, and it would open up that on the entire screen. Okay, so now if I want to see what makes up this sale of 17 million, I want to drill down on it. I want to get to the details of things. I can just right click and say drill down. It's going to tell me my distribution by branches. So how much did I sell from the equipment? How much did I sell on the rental? How much did the service revenue? What was the part? And of course, accounting and admin is only going to be expense. It's never going to be, you're not going to have revenue from that. Then I could drill down another level, and it gives me the ESA numbers, individual sales deal, which make up that number. Now, one thing to remember is, and you'll see that quite a bit, especially for the first few months of you starting to use that, is you'll see numbers getting tied to NAs. Now, those are essentially your migration. Because on the migration, Extend does not have the individual sales agreements in this case in the system, so there's no way for Extend to know where it comes from, and those get marked as NA. So there'll be a few components here and there for all the migrated data. They would kind of show up as NA. So it'll get better as in when you start generating more and more data, but initially that is just something to keep in mind. Yeah, so that is how it lets you drill down into what makes up that number, and so that's again one of a very popular feature that this tool has. And these are just some sales by department, and it gives you the month-over-month trend. You could be looking at a particular department and give you the trend for that. So it's just sales by department. This is more of an expense analysis, wherein you're looking at your year-to-date expense compared to prior year-to-date expense, and a lot of prior numbers are showing up funny. We can check why. Yeah, so this is going to tell you for, let's say, June. For the month of June, what is your total expense? This is your total expense. How does it break by different components? This is how it breaks by different components. This is the high compensation of management, advertisement, and this can be broken down by department and so on and so on. Okay. We'll check on why this is not showing up, but essentially this is supposed to give you the absorption ratio. So the way we calculate the absorption ratio,
since there's 1,000 ways.
yeah. The way we calculate is gross margin from your product support, that is your parts and service, divided by the total expense. So that's kind of how we do it. And I know there are a couple of variations here and there where some people consider rental over here, and some people consider expense and interest cost. So you can tell me how you guys want it, what is in it, but this is kind of the most standard that we've seen across industry. Like everyone at least looks at these components, and then there might be some variation where some people have rental along with the parts and service margin, and people who use rental, they also take expense plus like total operating expense plus interest cost.
So the ways we end up calculating it 4 or 5 different ways because different manufacturers want to see their
Different,
version.
yeah. Volvo, I think, does rental and interest, I think.
And
Ace, I'm not sure.
sometimes we do parts and service over total expense minus rental expense. So if you're not going to include gross profit from rental, we take expense of rental out.
Oh, okay.
But the main reason we push for that a lot of times is we take advantage of a lot of depreciation that most dealers don't. And our rental department looks unprofitable most of the time when it's
Right.
not at all.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to, I mean,
Right.
from the looks of it, it's hard to gauge the.
So what would probably amaze and astound our CEO, who's my dad, is if we had a dashboard that had all the different ways that we calculated on one screen, so he could just look at it and go,
Yeah.
okay.
That's great. So if you can give me the list of
Yeah.
all the different formulas you do,
Yeah.
we can label it and just put it on one screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Now this is
Did we really sell things in a different country?
no, it's because there's no city on it or something. That's why.
Huh.
Well, doesn't you reduce some export?
A little bit, but not.
It's
Oh, it was doing NA.
yeah.
Never showing up in other places.
Yeah, so this is essentially if you were to plot your information on the actual geographical map to see, which region, which area, which city, which county is selling more, who's selling where. The typical use case for this is just sales by ship to address, but if you get like a market share information, I know Volvo shares it. I don't know if Case does or not, but so what we can do is we can take that market share or EAD, like your UCCs.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. So and then we plot it. So then you can typically see as to what's the size of the market, and also notate what is your contribution or what is your market share in that size.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So if you have like the UCCs filing information, it's just that we have to build up a process because
Updating it monthly.
yeah, or there's no interface, so to say, with the UCCs
Right.
for the EADs, and on the other market share data, I think the OEM, like the manufacturer, just sends an Excel typically. So again, there's no way for us to grab that information directly right now.
So playing with Power BI before, I assume we could just establish a format in an Excel document and use the gateway.
The gateway is already in place, so all you need to do is just the way we would do it is just upload an Excel on a monthly basis in some network location.
Okay, on a shared
that
folder.
Our system can also access it from,
Okay.
and then that's it. You just keep doing that.
Awesome. That
So
would be
let's
amazing.
talk about that when we
Yeah, I'm
get to that
making
piece.
notes of the
Yeah.
different things as they come up.
This one's again an important one. It shows revenue by customer, and it looks like this is your biggest CNH America. Is that your customer?
Warranty.
Oh, do you want to exclude that?
No,
It's all right.
because
And
that really.
fill in parts back.
Oh yeah, returning parts, I guess. But it would not surprise me if we are doing that much warranty with them. Their
Okay.
quality is not that great right now.
So yeah, so this is essentially going to give you the listing of all your customers. Essentially, what this intends to show you is show you a comparison of how the sale from that customer is doing compared to prior. So it's going to give you an idea whether you've gained more business from them compared to last year, or you've lost business with them compared to last year. But the prior numbers are only going to be, it's not visible for the migrated information because I think in the financials, there's no business partner. in your
Right,
business. Yeah.
right.
So it's not, I mean, so we don't have that information right now. Of course, going forward with, you'll have to wait a few months to get that comparison then because the system doesn't have the breakup by the customer.
Right.
At this point in time. So yeah, there's gonna be some places where you're gonna have to just bear with it because of the migrated information. But yeah, so the intent was to just give you that comparison right there. This one is on the receivables. This can't be right. Is that right? Is that your balance mark?
It's very possible.
Okay.
It should not be, but there's a lot of
Unapplied.
Yes.
Okay.
We had quite a while that things were not invoicing correctly, so they were applying just straight to the account and didn't apply to the invoices. Now they're having to go back through and apply to the invoices.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this is essentially giving you what your total balance is. How does it distribute across different aging buckets? So 62% is between 0 to 30, then 9% between 31 and 60, 14 between 61 and 90, and you got about 13% of over 90. Then here it breaks, yeah, but it's at least 62% within 30, so that's typically a good sign.
Our goal is 2% on
Over 90? Yeah. So that, and then this one here is giving you the breakup of who owes you what and how does it break up by different buckets. So if you want to see anyone who owes you everything that's aging for more than 90 days, so it kind of bring you the.
That looks like a bad debt, I guess.
Does this name ring a bell? Accrued?
It sounds familiar, but definitely gonna have to look into that one.
Yeah. And then here, this is an interesting one. So what we do is we kind of based on the payment history that's there in the system, we calculate the number of days it takes for an individual customer to pay off the invoice, like based on the history, based on the patterns in which they've paid in the past. And then the green one, the green bar that you see on the screen, that represents for everything that's open in the open entries right now, how many days on an average has this invoices have been open since, right? So
if the green has exceeded the blue, that might be
yeah, I mean
identifying
it's,
a big
yeah,
problem.
something's weird. Like, they're not their usual pattern. Something
Right.
is definitely unusual or whatever.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So and then when you tap on it, it'll tell you, okay, this is the amount that's which is aging for more than 40 days or whatever. Also, so this one seems to be a problem, based on the history, they're paying 203 days, and then it's 228 since it's open. See, I would right-click, drill down. It would tell me, okay, it's MGR, which is migration, and then these are my invoices. So it's this one, which is these three that have been open for the longest time.
Wow.
So this would just let you evaluate. Now there might be some things we want to exclude, some things we just want to not consider for this calculation. Uh, and we can do that, and we can talk about that depending on if there are such cases. But yeah, this would take you to the invoice level so that you can see where is it that. And if you want to kind of just build that for your top 15, 20 customers or whatever, we could do that as well.
Or the one that might be interesting is that maybe a checkbox to be able to filter to just show the ones where the green bar is higher than the blue bar.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but then these numbers, they, they,
That's still bad.
yeah, yeah, but then there might be less dollars.
Right, right.
There might be some,
Might be a penny.
yeah, might be not a penny, hopefully, but yeah, a less number of dollars. But yeah, so we can massage this, but that is essentially what the intent is. And then this tells you on an average what is the like on an average as an organization, what's the average days that your customers take to pay you back?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
On these invoice numbers, is that taking off like the PSO and the zeros and just giving the numerical part?
Those are migrated invoices, so they were
Okay.
probably,
Not really.
although those were some weird numbers even for a migrated invoice.
No, those were your financial invoices. If you let me pull up.
Oh, those were the SI whatever,
Yeah.
SIB.
This might be a little more familiar to you.
Actually, that was the one I was in.
That's funny.
No.
Okay.
Well, there's some things weird about this.
I
check
did
that.
see
Some
some,
C-Docs.
yeah, there were some migration invoice numbers in there.
Yeah, I'll check it out. There's something. It should break it up by the order though. It's
Okay.
not. It's not breaking up. But yeah, we could use if you don't use that MGR or whatever that number was coming up as an order invoice number, that would give you your PSOs or whatever. Cool. So this one is just a listing of AR by customer. Now, the one at the bottom here is taking the ratio of the overdue receivables by the total receivables. So essentially, it's telling you as to what percentage of your receivables are past is due date, compared to your total AR. So what it says is, as of last night, 56 or 57% of your receivables are past as due date. They are overdue. And that's what this signifies. So this will give you like a good pattern, and maybe you'll see a trend saying, okay, in these months it goes up, in these months it goes down. This is more like a detailed report. I think these are the invoices you're used to looking at, the POs. So this will give you your customer name, your invoice number. If you want to just sort it by the, so it'll give you your invoices, everything basically. It's more like that detailed aging report that one would typically look at.
Bill's going to be happy with you. I keep looking at these things going, well, there's somebody else I need to add to this.
And this one's similar to what we saw on the first screen. It's just that, so these ones were based on the aging was based on the on the invoice date. So we, considering
Right.
to start the age of the invoice from the day it's invoiced. Now this one is based on the due date. So the aging here is after it's been due, after the due date is hit. So this tells you what your total overdue is, what are the dollars on the invoices that are past this due date, and this is a breakup.
Won't make much difference for us because almost all of our customers are net 30, so if we had different payment terms, I could see that being really useful.
Yeah, okay.
But it'll probably be less so.
Yeah, that's fine. So now, again, this is representing the sales, like your AR by the sales reps.
Huh.
So are you maintaining or the sales rep at the business partner level?
No. The problem is we have a rental salesman.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rental salesman, PSSR,
Equipment. But
we can do that.
Yeah, there's provision to do all of that.
I can't remember why we're not doing that.
Okay. Do you have multiple sales reps, let's say multiple equipment sales rep linked to one customer?
No. Shelley, Chris, do y'all remember why we hadn't done that yet? Maybe it was just too much work.
So the reason I ask is, so right now we're picking it up from the invoice level, the one which you put on the agreement.
Okay.
It's gonna give you a big NA because for the migrated there is no agreement. But if you start maintaining that at the business partner level, you'll get a breakup for everything. Irrespective of that being migrated or not, because this looks like a big amount. It's gonna take a while to figure it out.
Oh.
So
that was why. So we have a problem in our sales organization that if they see that another set, and this is really a management problem, we should do it anyway, but when our salesmen see, oh, that's so-and-so's account, if they're calling on them for some reason, they want to create their own. Okay. And then we end up with duplicates. So we initially just went with not having salesmen attached to it so that they would all use the same one, when really we should tell them, if you make a duplicate, you're fired, or a lesser version of that.
So they create duplicate business partner is what you were
mainly
worried about?
I think it's kind of an ego thing. Okay. They want it to be their account, and they don't want the other guy to see their stuff. And
so it's not fixed, right? For you, the customer is not tied to a salesman then?
It is. Okay. There is a small area where we have, so you may have seen the other building over here. There's a rental building, and then on the other side of that, there's a Case building. Right. And Volvo and Case are competitors. They each have a salesman. Oh. And their territories are the same.
Oh.
So every once in a while, they'll be competing, and it's amazing. These guys complain about being too old for this technology or whatever, and it's the oldest guy, the one that's about to retire, that had found the Case guy's calls and went and got on the same deal and made it a competition, and then our profit went to almost nothing on it.
Okay.
Would you expect that of Dan Goldman? He figured out how to find Richard Tonak's sales deal, and I was going, really? I had to teach you how to use a phone. But yeah, so there is that incidence where we do have two salesmen on one account, but that's 3 branches out of 23. So we probably shouldn't design the system.
Yeah, generalize it and then work on, So that would help you. We are fine as far as the system is concerned. We are okay. The only benefit you get right now, we can pick up from the invoice level, and those will be fine going forward. The only places like this big NA, they're all migrated. We don't have the order linked to that.
Right.
So those other ones which would start giving you, relevant breakup, and then you can, and I assume your sales rep are responsible for collections as well, right? If not, then this might not be relevant.
Salesmen, the other thing we'd probably want to see it broken down by is department.
Yeah. If you do this, it's going to break up by department.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Cool.
We can have two of these as well.
And I'm kind of catching a little bit of the data structure. Branch name there includes the department and, in our terminology, the department and the branch.
Yeah.
Are there fields that are just the department and just the, okay, cool.
Then we have something that we call as the daily dashboard. I don't know why this shows. Did you know? Last working day was 20. Just slow. Anyways, I'll check that out. But yeah, so on the daily dashboard, what we want to typically highlight is what's your invoicing been in the last 5 days? So you can tap on that and kind of look at, okay, how was these branch invoicing, or how are you invoicing overall as an organization? This one here is supposed to give you your daily sales. I think this is considering Saturday to be. Okay, so this is basically. Yeah, it's going to 21st. So this is what it would look like. It's just because of the weekend it's getting messed up. I'll see that. I don't know why it's taking Saturday as the last working. It should be taking Friday.
We might include Saturday.
But then it would show a blank on a Monday if that's okay, because that's what it is right now.
I think it's probably only showing up, we do have branches that work on Saturday, but my guess is they're still having trouble with the invoicing. Like the jobs haven't been running correctly, so our accounting office is invoicing manually. I bet nothing invoiced Saturday, even though there was work done.
Okay, so maybe once that is fixed, then it might be worth
Right. But we would want to exclude Sunday.
Yeah, of course. That's, yeah. You don't make people work on Sundays, do you?
Only me.
Sometimes.
And Shelley. And Kelly. Okay, some people.
So yeah, it says on the 20th, on Friday, you invoiced worth 1.9 million. Wow. It looks like you sold some machine.
That's probably like 5 days of rental that we didn't know wasn't invoicing.
All right. So once that gets streamlined, this would become a little more relevant, saying, okay, what are you invoicing? Which branches are doing what? And it kind of lets you look at that in a little more straight way. And then this one here would show you by customer. So if you've done a large sale deal or something, that customer come right on the top, and so everyone relevant knows, okay, something big got sold to them.
Okay.
And this is going to give you your last 5 days of sales, like what did you invoice in last 5 days.
Okay.
This is supposed to give you your cash position. I'm gonna have to check why some of those are not getting populated, but it will tell you your cash inflows and outflows. It will show you the balance of all the cash accounts. And then, do you have a balance sheet FST configured yet? Have you tried building the balance? That's probably why it's not showing. Oh, there is.
Let's see.
Is this complete?
I am not sure if that one's complete yet or not.
Okay. If you can let me know, that's probably why, because we refer to the structure to group the ledgers. Yeah, and this one will show you the balance amount of the goods delivered but not invoiced yet.
Oh, okay.
It's larger than.
Which is,
To the parts side.
oh, it does look like it's built, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
I have not checked it thoroughly, but there are accounts tied to it at least.
1.9 of that 1.91 is equipment on 720.
On the,
That's the day that there was the spike.
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, actually, on that too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Now, it's going on to the inventory. On the part side, I'm just going to go on to the report so we can talk about. This is basically the aging of the parts, everything that's aging and what bucket it typically falls under. So it tells you what's aging beyond 48 months, what's aging, across the remaining buckets.
So Matthew, so you'll know, in the migration, we did not go to the trouble of trying to figure out how long our parts were there. We used the new in system date. Let's see. No, we used.
You did give me some files.
Yeah, we gave dates, and I think they were.
Last
We
sale
had-
date?
We had some cascade there. Shelley, did we do like last sale date, then last receipt date if there was no sale, and then last new in system maybe?
Yes.
But it's some kind of setup like that. Okay.
Yeah, so
It'll get more accurate as we go.
yeah, and going forward, it would be based on the actual receipt date.
Right.
Irrespective of your transfers, irrespective of your returns.
Okay.
Right, so if the part is transferred from warehouse 1 to warehouse 2, so let's say
So-
a 1-year-old part transferred from warehouse 1 to warehouse 2, when it goes to warehouse 2, it carries the aging with it.
All right.
So when warehouse 2, it will be 1-year-old because
Don't tell anybody at the branches that. They'll be finding their oldest parts and transferring them.
Yeah, but it wouldn't matter. But the other warehouse would say, "Why do I have this? Why do I'm not receiving it?" So yeah, so this is gonna tell you what's aging where, and then when I tap on greater than 48 months, it gives me the distribution of the same by warehouse. It's just this warehouse which has the most inventory of everything aging more than 48 months, and then this is the distribution of the same by the manufacturer. So
Okay.
it'll tell you the 146 then
there you go.
yeah, I don't know what manufacturer.
Let's exclude them immediately.
Yeah, rental point of sale is, the rental department has a showroom kind of in front of them that they
Sure.
sell things off the shelf.
Uh-huh.
So parts, it's tracked in the parts system, but parts isn't really responsible for it. So we'll probably exclude
Get
that.
to know that. Okay.
Give rental their own copy of this sheet.
Yeah.
Say, clean it up.
Oh, did you hear? The XR parts used to be branch specific, and because they were making up those numbers,
Oh, yeah.
what was in Amarillo might have been an earplug, is a hard hat. in Bethesda.
Yeah. Should use SKUs in my opinion. But...
Okay. And this is just showing your non-stock inventory. So are you running the planning jobs? You're running the planning jobs, right? So based on the planning jobs, this is basically everything with the stock status as non-stock, which is not obsolete yet. It's not under the review, but if you have like a large inventory which says non-stock, then those will become absolute in the coming time. So it's just a recap of everything which is non-stock.
So things we might want to put on sale.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've defined an obsolete stock status at this time.
Oh, you haven't?
I believe not, no, sir. Which is in progress.
This is, we call it dead stock, everything that's aging for more than 24 months. And if your criteria is something else, I can just set it up here. But as a general rule, anything aging more than 24 months kind of shows up on this report. Tells you the manufacturer, tells you the list of parts, tells you everything. So you could be tapping on case, you want to see, okay, it's got 460, like almost $500,000. This is how it breaks up by warehouse. This is what the part numbers are. You just take this, export this into Excel, and then send it to whoever saying, okay, look at these parts. Okay.
That route needs to go on sale. It's awesome.
And this is what it would look like when it exports to Excel.
How did it know to highlight them?
That was not there,
Different way.
yeah.
Huh. I've noticed that part number throws that manufacturer in at the end sometimes.
It always will.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's how it's been. Like your part number has a manufacturer as a suffix.
Huh.
So this will give you that listing where you can just export it and send it to anyone.
Now, do you know the formula right in Excel? If you do equals right and then click that
You
one,
can truncate, yes.
you can take those last 3 digits, get the manufacturer, then trim the part number and get all the spaces out of it.
And you don't have any truck inventory, right?
We do, but we don't have it.
In this.
I think it's all showing in the branch the truck is out of right now, but we can transfer to the trucks if we
I
want to
think,
start doing that.
So if you do
we
in
set up some warehouses and we
Mhm.
need to get that transferred over with being like W01 and then the truck number.
Mhm.
So that's what this is supposed to highlight, and then this is all the dirty cores. If you have the dirty cores, currently you have none.
That's not true.
So the system shows none.
Do you think we've taken in any since the transition?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There's definitely some 30 cores that are.
Why isn't it showing up?
I don't know, but I could find one.
Yeah, if you can give me some examples, I'll look it up. Is that not getting marked appropriately in the system or something?
I hope it is. Because those were kind of a pain in the butt.
Okay, I think I got one. Let me just find. Okay, part number AC, like Alpha Charlie, 187873. And I've got on hand at least 4 warehouses. And it is flagged as a dirty core.
You can see that Alpha Charlie.
Yep, 187873.
Okay, here you go.
1 instead of yes.
I will.
Okay. Cool.
Not bad. It's 8.4K and this is pretty.
Yeah, looks like Manor's got some. Now, when those, like that fix that you just applied, when will that be pushed through to the,
It's pushed already.
okay, so I can refresh?
Yeah, the only delay is the data updates
Mhm.
daily. And does that do that at like 4 a.m., something like that?
The whole thing starts at about midnight
Uh-huh.
and it churns and
Oh,
I think
okay.
everything gets done by 4 or
I thought I saw that time somewhere, and I'm not sure where.
it must be the refresh
Oh,
time of
yeah.
the data. So sometimes you can see that officially.
And if you click refresh on the dashboard, it will refresh against the BI server, but the BI server won't have updated, so there's no point in clicking refresh.
Yeah. Unless we're, doing something where, we kind of
Where we've
working
updated the
together,
server.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So the next portion on the pod side again is the fill rate and the availability analysis. I'm just going to dive right in. So and some of this might be relevant for that case report that you have. I think you have to send fill rates as well, if I'm not wrong.
Probably so.
Yeah. All right. So now the fill rate piece, we kind of break it down from multiple perspectives. So let's just talk about the first two is the difference between the fill rate and availability. Okay. So fill rate is what you actually fulfilled.
Okay.
Okay. Availability is a measure of what was available with you in your branch when the order came in, and what was available with you as an organization when the order came in. So irrespective of how you decide to fulfill the order. So it's basically initial availability. That's
Okay.
what it is. When the order came in, initially, how many percentage of times you actually have, the quantities that have there's a demand for, or somebody came to you with it. How many times you have it as an organization, how many times you don't have it at all. And that's irrespective of how you actually decide to fulfill it. So
that first one's the customer happy rate. Like he came to the counter and got his part immediately.
Not necessarily. So yes, essentially yes. So basically, if you look at, that is what is available. What you want to look at is this, like the fill rates to see did you fulfill the order that came to you. And then there are a couple of different ways to look at it. So consider a scenario where somebody ordered like 5 pieces of a particular part. You had 3 of them, and you had to place an order for 2 of them anyways, and you needed all 5. So you said, can you wait a day? I'll get to you by tomorrow. He said, okay. So you ordered all 5, even though you could have given him 3, and because then you could use this 3 if somebody else came in on the same day. So that's how you fulfilled it. But availability-wise, that was available. You could have fulfilled whatever 3 of the 5. So that's where the difference kind of comes in.
That'll take some use.
That's there, and then everything we do. Okay, so branch level is essentially what that warehouse could fulfill, like on its own without doing any transfers. An organization. Your branch fill rate, your organizational fill rate is your branch fill rate plus the transfer. Does that make sense?
Okay. Mhm.
It's just something to keep in mind. Again, there is one more perspective to it. You look at it based on the lines you fulfilled, and you look at it based on the quantity you fulfilled. So somebody ordered 10 quantities of part, right? Then you could fulfill like 8 of them. So you fulfill 8 of them. So your quantity filled rate is great. It's 80%. If you look at the line fill rate on the same example, that'd be 0%.
Right.
So because you did not fulfill the line, like another customer had to go
Right.
wait or couldn't get that
Mhm.
demand fulfilled. So line fill rate is conservative. It's either 0 or it's 1. Like either you fulfill the line or you don't. Quantity will give you credits for all the partially filled
Mhm.
ones as well. So, I mean, we give you both. You can look at whichever.
Do you by chance look at a dollar fill rate?
We do. We've not had a lot of. I have it in there, and we could look at how much dollars you actually did not fulfill at all. But we didn't have a lot of people looking at that.
Well, sometimes that'll show you if there's higher dollar components where you're.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I can pull that.